Hello again everybody, welcome back to the Somerset Survival Series. So I believe this is episode 5, maybe episode 4. I'm losing count already. I'm only in my first few episodes and I can't even remember how many I've done. So we are now in October, 7 o'clock in the morning, so it is still dark, typical of this area. But let's just let's have a look. Let's have a little check in now. I can see. Nice. I can see some eggs over there. Wonderful. So, I think we've probably skipped about, I don't know, maybe 18 hours. So, we've produced 21 eggs, which is brilliant. So, what's we used there? So, about 70 litres of food to 20 eggs. So, I'm not going to try and work that out currently, but gives us an idea. Best price for selling eggs is next month. So if we're lucky, we might have 50 eggs. So maybe not quite as good as I thought it would be. But talking about that though, what I do need to do, and I want to do right at the beginning of the episode, is create some form of selling point for these eggs, because we figured out in the last episode this map doesn't have one. And I do also want to create some form of service or maintenance area. So what I'm going to do on that is put a shed in the shop selling area, and then put some form of workshop trigger inside of it, just so it looks good, but also we need somewhere to repair. This when we started off is already low. It's only on 20% maintenance, so it is going to need some work pretty soon, and we are not going to be in a position where we've earned enough money to have our own trigger. So I am just going to add this into the map. So I am going to jump into construction mode, give myself some money, do the work, and then reduce the money back down to 934. So I'll speed it up. I'll try not to keep it too long. Hopefully you like the idea of seeing some bits like that, but if not, just skip through it and forward into the video. And it won't take too long. Now, interestingly, £934. I'll have to go back on the last video and try and figure out why that's gone down, because I'm pretty sure that's gone down by about 300 quid. So, I mean, maintenance of the chickens, was it honestly that much? But there you go, it's part of the challenge, I suppose. So anyway, let's jump into construction mode. I'll stop talking for a minute and I'll catch you again shortly. Okay, brilliant. That's that done pretty quickly. Just to give us a couple of points, I didn't particularly detail them. I do a lot of landscaping around them. I just placed them in place just so we can get straight back onto this, to be honest with you. So time is back at times 10. Just curious, in those few minutes I did that, how much has this changed? Not at all. Not even one single egg. So that's fine. So maybe we can't rely on that just too much. Now, it's difficult to decide what to do, to be honest with you, because what I don't want to do is just start skipping through the days. I honestly don't feel like that's the right thing to do. And I also don't particularly want to go chopping down some more trees. So I may just pop back to the sawmill. and just collect a couple of collectibles. Now, if we do decide to go for a greenhouse, we are going to need £3,000 to buy the actual greenhouse. No, we need £2,000 to buy the greenhouse. I just realised, in fact, actually, while you're watching, I did not change the money, so we'll change that back. £934, if my memory is correct. Which again is a lot less than how we ended the episode. Try that again. Set the money to £934. Brilliant. We ended the episode, I'm pretty sure I remember saying 1,399. So we've lost 400 odd pounds there overnight, and I'm not exactly sure how we've done it. But you know, there's probably maintenance with having a sleep trigger, and there's probably maintenance with having chickens. So whilst they're making us profit, I guess we have to live with the fact that they're also costing us money. So we just got to keep an eye on it, really. So we need an extra £1,000 for the greenhouse. If I just put it into a position where I'm thinking, let's figure out if it needs any additional money to do any landscaping. It doesn't tell me because we don't have enough money. But that's not the only cost. If we're going to be going into that, we need to be getting a trailer, a water trailer. Now the water fill point is a lake, so I'm assuming it doesn't charge you for that. And I believe, again, because I haven't tested it, I believe that the van does have a hitch. We'll have to have a look in a second. Now I do know there's some really good, really well priced water trailers. But where are they? Are they in miscellaneous? Yeah, there's one there. That's pretty good. And I've used that one before, and it just looks quite cool, quite old-fashioned looking, quite basic. 3,000 litres, enough to get us started. But I'm a bit worried it's in miscellaneous. But it does say it holds water. But the tow eye on that looked kind of strange, and this potentially doesn't have a tow hitch, which is a little bit annoying. So, you know, it's almost that time now where we're going to need to think about a tractor, a water trailer, and a greenhouse. Potentially, then a front loader. We can still use the van to load up the product, but we're going to have to think of a way of earning some money here. We are definitely going to need to do that. Now, potentially what I might do off screen is get the trees down. That will give us a little bit of a boost. We will do what I said. We'll put back in. There was 2 more collectibles, obvious ones. I think there were they were all obvious. Let's be honest. But the ones that are on the ground, they're just kind of annoying being there anyway, to be honest with you. So we'll clear them off. I won't touch the ones up on the roof and things like that, which are really well hidden. We'll leave those. But there's 2 or 3 there, I think, so that'll give us a little bit of a boost. However, that's not going to give us a tractor boost. I forgot I installed this mod last time, actually, a couple of episodes when we was talking through tractors, and I love it. This is great. However, at 14 horsepower, before you start modifying, which is expensive, is no help to anyone. So £5,000 on top of that, £12,500, and you only get 50 horsepower. So as great as it looks, that is not really an option. However, there are a few other options. So I think we looked at the Massey Ferguson, which was decent. It had enough horsepower to kind of get you going. It wasn't that one. It was that one. So 38, as standard, 7,850, and that will certainly pull a water trailer. Whether or not it will pull the trailing combine harvester, I don't know. But we are never going to get that £17,000 for the harvester unless we do something. So we've got to spend a little to earn a little bit more. I do feel chickens are going to do all right. They're going to do us some money. When they sell at best price and you have 1,000 of them, you're looking at kind of £4,000 a time on this setting and this mode. So once we get going, that's going to be good. But we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to spend this much money. Start off with this one. I think is the only option. I'll tell you what I haven't done today. I did say I'm going to do it all the time, but I hadn't actually looked. I mean, yeah, let's get that. Definitely 244,000. That sounds good. If I haven't said it before, by the way, we won't be getting loans. I think that's kind of obvious, to be honest, in this sort of series, but we definitely won't be getting loans. So we're surviving with the absolute basics, and we really don't have much of an option. At all. So yeah, it's got to be the Massey. Now, what I might do is have a little peek at small tractors. I do like using the older machinery, and that one is great. I have used it quite a lot before in the past, though, however, and to be honest, it's that good. I would imagine a lot of people have. So I might look at some third-party sites and see if I can find something that maybe people haven't used too much, just so there's a little bit of old newness in this particular series. So I will take a peek. Again, like I said before, the beauty is I can do that in a split second and have it straight back in the game. So that would be something I'll do very shortly to try and allow us to budget, work out how much money that we need, and hopefully make some progress. So just give me a second. I'll just have a quick peek and I'll pop back in very, very soon. See you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. So had a quick look. 2 or 3 mods from third-party sites. I also found a FarmCon John Deere, which is actually in the mod hub. So the problem with the third-party sites is it doesn't always tell you how much money they actually cost us, which is a little bit frustrating sometimes. So you kind of download and install them a little bit blind, but we'll have a look in a minute. I'll just go through some of the additions if I can find where they are. Okay, there's one. So that's pretty good. That's one of the ones I didn't know the price of, 6,500. Quite like that. 52. So it's about the same as the Massey Ferguson, but it's about £1,000. Oh, actually, it's added on £500 for the wheels there. I wonder if that can get to 0. No, it can't. So 7,000 for that one. I like that. It's different. There's not a huge amount of internationals in the game, so that potentially might be something that we go for. 7,000. Just show you some more. I really like that. So that's from Mod Hub, and that's just so detailed. So 7,500, about the same sort of horsepower. I would quite like to go for that as well. So potentially one of those two. But there are a couple more. Let's have a look. The Renault, I've used that before. I really like that. But that's probably on the next scale, so you know, a second tractor, or as we expand a little bit further. So it's a little bit more money. It's also double the horsepower, so I don't think that's the right kind of starter tractor anyway. But that is really good. I like that. And then this is one of the ones again I installed from the third-party site, which was Mod Network. I do like that as well, but it's a bit too expensive. So potentially I might use that one in my other series, actually, to be honest with you, because it is very detailed. But for this, I don't think the horsepower is less and the price is more. It doesn't make sense to do that. So we need to get on with making a bit more money, I guess. So the time hasn't moved since I logged off very quickly just to install the new mods. We have got 5 more eggs though, so it is going up. So we'll keep an eye on that. again, we want to try and, ideally, if we can get half a pallet for November, then that would be fantastic. So plenty of food. What I'm going to do very quickly, just to make the trip to the sawmill worthwhile, I'm going to fill the van with some wood, and then we're going to collect those 2 or 3 collectibles which were just there lying around on the floor. Hopefully that will just give us a little bit of a boost. Now these always fall the way you cut them, so let's do it that way. And I managed to avoid my van, which I didn't plan very well, to be honest with you, but there we go. Right, let's just fix this one up, pop this into the van. I'll probably speed this bit up, to be honest with you, just so I can get this done a bit quicker. So give me a couple of minutes and then I will catch you soon. Okay, so back in, so I've loaded up. This is definitely the biggest load we've done so far in one go, and believe it or not, it's probably the neatest stacking I've done as well. Not that it looks incredibly great, but this is very top heavy. Doesn't want to break, doesn't want to turn, and it wants to fall over, so I've had to do this so slowly, but hopefully I went for a little bit longer this time because I could put them on that reef rack. So the ones on the top there are a bit longer. Of course, they're worth a little bit more when they are longer. So hopefully this will give us a nice little boost, along with the, what have we got here? 1, 2, 3 collectibles we'll pick up there, the ones that are on the floor. We'll pretend we haven't seen those well hidden ones on the reef. So you may have noticed then in the time lapse that the little animation where you get out the car is a bit frustrating because it gets right at the top, and I kind of got stuck between logs, and the only way I could get out of it was to push half the logs off again. So same thing, Oh, there we go. That time we got out of it. So I just need to remember to be loading these logs back a bit rather than sticking over, because you do kind of exit the vehicle about here. But there we go. Right, what's this gonna be? Nice. So 1,982, just under 2,000. So that puts us just under 3,000. We're gonna get these. The last one was 1,000. What does it say there? So 9 more water trailers to be found. So I'm assuming a bit like the original map, once you find each of the same type, it gives you a bonus. So we'll keep an eye on that, because I don't really want to be doing that. If I remember, if it's the same, it gives you like 50 grand when you collect all 10 of each type. So we won't do that. To be honest, it's very unlikely we'll get too many more collectibles. But that's good. So we're pretty much back at what we started with yesterday. So not quite enough to get a tractor, which is frustrating, but it is what it is. Now, what are we now? We're October. I'm pretty sure I said the eggs best price was November. I'm just going to remind myself, because when I said it, it was on the first part of this recording, and I can't remember what I said. So yeah, 4,200. It's already a good price, to be fair. 3,859. So if we can get, I mean, I don't quite know if it's going to happen, but if we can get half a pallet, that will give us a couple of £1,000 in November, which will then pay for our first tractor, and potentially we'll be able to buy the water trailer as well, which would be good. Of course, this is all forward planning to actually having a greenhouse, and that itself is just over £2,000. So I don't know which order we'll get them in. Doesn't really matter which order we get them in, because we need all 3 bits to generate the money anyway. So I'll probably wow, actually I may place the greenhouse now, so it's there ready to go. Now, we got just under £2,000 for that tree, so to be honest, if I just chop down one more tree, although that pretty much does end our tree possibilities, it probably will be enough to get the tractor. Oh, I forgot it likes to drift. So yeah, that's probably what I'll do. So we'll just jump back to the yard, place the greenhouse, try and figure out where we want that, do a little bit of landscaping around it just to make it look nice, and then just one more final tree, just so that we can look at getting that tractor. Now, I think, to be honest, I'd quite like to go for the John Deere. So around this area you don't see a lot of internationals, but you do see a lot of John Deeres. You don't see them that old, but you do see a lot of John Deeres, so I think that's more fitting, and it just looks like a really good mod. And where possible, I always try and stick to mods anyway, just because you're 100% certain it is the original mod creator that's released it, because it's kind of verified, I think, a little bit better. So I would rather do that. Now let's just move. I'm just going to pop this crate back into here. So as the chickens start to breed, it's a small income, but it's another income, and we will on a regular basis maybe take a crate full of 8 just back to make a bit of money. Now they sell at £25, I think, when they're full size, so that's 200 quid each time we do it, and at the minute we need that. So let's have a look at that. I wonder, in all that time I was chopping trees, 32, so it's going up. It's going up indeed. It's not going to be half a pallet by the morning, that's for sure. But even if it's a quarter, that's £1,000, so that would be good. Now I won't clip this bit. I'll leave this bit recording. I'll just go radio silent for a moment, get our greenhouse positioned, which is productions greenhouses. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, brilliant, all done. So just a little bit of landscaping. Seem to get rid of the grass, and I can't deal with stuff like that. Need to keep it looking as real as possible. Yeah, I managed to do that alright without being able to see. I do have a bit of an obsession with trying to make it look as real as possible, so let's jump in and have a look. Now, I am hopeful this works just on water. However, I've never tried this particular one, I don't believe. Now, it does give us access to the oil mill and the cereal factory. That must just be part of the map because we don't own those areas. So we will not use those areas. A bit like in the first episode, if we ever want to use those, we'll work out the cost of what they would be if we bought them in game, and we'd just deduct the money and charge ourselves as and when we come to that point. But I'm kind of thinking, to be honest, when we get to an oil mill, we will probably use the mod that's a windmill, unless that is the one that's already installed to the map. So we'll have a look at that when we get to it. But anyway, I'm kind of a little bit concerned because there's an option to do these with solid fertilizer or with manure, but there doesn't seem to be an option for just water. So that changes things a little bit. However, I'm not too concerned actually, because I think through various mods we could probably, in fact we could probably give ourselves a little kickstart, because I'm sure you can buy, obviously you can buy seed. I believe I can buy solid fertilizer individual bags somewhere here. Maybe it's not under pallet, maybe it's in big bag. Yeah, so here I'm sure I've seen, there we go, fertilizer. So what we'll do, we've got the money now. It's going to take a little bit more of the money away from purchasing our first tractor. However, we can get the greenhouse kick-started, which will then in turn generate us some more money. So I'll probably buy a few fertilizer bags. We'll buy a pallet of seed, the standard in-game seed. We won't be able to buy the big bag, even though they work out cheaper, because that will not fit into the van. I did off camera, after I input the kind of service garage, I did put a shop forklift in place as well. So that's there to use just while we buy stuff, as would any shop in real life. So we can load a pallet of seeds into the van using that, and then we can empty straight from the van into the greenhouse, so that would be fine. So we'll probably buy a pallet of seeds, which is, it's not too bad, 950, 4 or 5 bags of the solid fertilizer, and yeah, I'll probably, to kickstart as well, load one of those into the van with the forklift just to give us some water. Then that'll start producing from the greenhouse, which will help us get that money back, so that we can get that tractor, because that needs to be the next thing we do. Or doesn't need to be the next thing we do. Maybe we go back to the original plan and go saving straight in for the harvester, which I think was 17,000. So not sure what we're going to do on that actually, but what we do need to do now is head over to the shop, get that seed, that IBC of water, chuck a few bags of the fertilizer in as well, and kickstart that greenhouse. I think let's go this way today. Okay, so here we are, just pulling into the shop now. I think, to be honest with the greenhouse, I'll probably activate the lettuce. Now obviously it's worth more, but you get less, so it kind of balances. However, because you get less means it's less work. So I think that's the way that we'll go with it. Now I'm pretty sure from memory this all spawns just behind us here, so if I try and get the van in position ready, let's jump into the shop. So what did we say we're going to do? We're going to get a pallet of seeds, to to be honest, that's the same. Yeah, so the one a bit further along is the exact same thing. It's just the one that allows you to buy more than one at a time. So we don't need to do that. So 1 pallet seat. Great. We need to get the IBC of water, which is there. It's only £200. Just one of them. That'll start us off. And we won't fit more than that in the van anyway. The forklift doesn't have the ability to lift stuff onto the roof. It doesn't lift high enough. At least I don't think it does, but we can try it. So that's fine. And then while we're in here, let's jump into the bags. And we'll buy some bags of fertilizer. Now, how much is in them? 100 litre. How many of those? Okay, that'll do. I have no idea how many we just bought, but that'll do. Great, so hopefully that's deep enough to go 2 pallets deep. I don't know though, but we will try it. So just in here, again off camera, I put this here. It's an electric one. I am going to have to, if we use it a lot, put those little charging points in, but I can't imagine we'll be using this a great deal. So let's do this a minute. If I put the pallet in lengthways or sideways, hopefully I can fit them both in. So let's try and get that. It's not always the easiest to do with a controller. And potentially we'll just chuck all of those fertilizer bags onto the roof, which I'm sure will be fine. So let's just get this in. Yeah, looks promising. I think we'll be able to get 2 deep. Don't know how the van is going to cope with the weight, but let's get that in as far as we can. I can probably see through that window. Okay, doesn't want to go in any further than that, which is interesting. But I'm sure we can push it in. So this is it's worked out okay actually. Ideally, I wanted to be getting a trailer and going to the lake, not having to purchase the water. But this will hopefully give us a boost. I don't know how fast the lettuce will be produced because it is a modded greenhouse. Sometimes they produce faster. Just fast enough to kind of top up the money we've just spent that we didn't expect to spend would be great. And then yeah, either the tractor, which is going to be the John Deere. Oh, is this going to fit? No. Brilliant. So let's try it. Is it going to go onto the roof? This is going to be a difficult drive back if it does, because this van at the best of times wants to tip over. So I'm just going to have to be careful. So the great thing about pallets over big bags is you do get that additional height. So I'm sure that'll work just right. If we can get off without pulling it back off. Great, that looks good. Right, let's pull this back into its position in the garage. Great, that's that. Right, let's strap that while I remember. Let's just chuck these in anywhere. Don't think it'll really matter. I'll finish doing this and then I'll cut straight back to the yard when I get there. we'll top up the greenhouse, and I would imagine, to be honest, that's more than likely time for today. We obviously have a plan. We know what we've got to do now. Potentially sell what little eggs we have next episode. If we're lucky, it may have also generated some lettuce relatively quickly. We might have a little bit of that to sell as well. To be honest, we might have 1 or 2 more trees. I don't want to chop down anymore, if I'm honest, if I can help it, because the ones that are remaining look quite good in the position they're in. So if I can help it, I would rather not cut those down. But I would also rather not be going around collecting collectibles. So we'll have to see. But anyway, I'll catch you in a moment once I've done this. Okay, here we are, back now at the yard. We'll just reverse back up. Hopefully it is actually going to take the water, given it's so high off the ground, so we'll have to find out. Failing that, I'll drive forward and drive backwards and then brake very quickly and see if I can just knock it off at the top. But oh yeah, I can't even get it under the tree branch. That was an interesting drive back then as well. I did lose it a couple of times, but now I'm just going to load up the menu, the help menu, just to see what I can actually get rid of. And it doesn't look like any of it, to be honest with you. I assumed the trigger was just here, but maybe I'm wrong. Do I need to unstrap it? Okay, right. That's what I'm going to do with this IPC. See if I can make that fall off, which it doesn't want to do. This is obviously not quite your standard way of filling a greenhouse, but hey, we can't be too picky. And that, by the sound of it, is actually working. I don't know if you can hear that, but I can hear water. So I'm assuming that has filled up ever so slightly. What do we do with these? Interesting. No water, no nothing. Okay, I'm just going to cut this a second, try and figure this out. Maybe it's got to be around the other side. Just give me a moment, I'll be back in a sec. Well, that took a heck of a lot longer than it should have, but we did it. I may have used super strength a little bit, I will admit, but we did do it. We had to unload the seeds into the wheelbarrow to tip them into here. This little point here where the bags are seems to accept those small bags, and the water, I won't go into detail, that was a nightmare, but it's fine, it's done. Don't particularly want to be doing that again, so not at least until we have a tractor with a trailer. But as you can see, the lettuce is growing, which is great. So I think that's it for now. We've achieved a few things today. Got a greenhouse which is starting to produce. The eggs, when we checked, hadn't produced that many more eggs. The chickens, I should say, sorry, the chickens haven't produced that many more eggs than the last time we checked. So we will probably sell what we've got in the morning. But for now, that's it. Probably about time for this episode. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.